Alright, so this is just a quick video of one particular day of spearfishing. I'm out here freshwater spearfishing for northern pike, and I thought it'd be an interesting video to make. This is the first time I filmed myself doing this, and it's really fun to me, and I figure there's other people out there who would be interested in watching some freshwater spearfishing because I know there's not a lot of videos out there. So here you go. So on this dive in particular, or this clip, I'm just swimming on the surface right now, and I'm looking for some seaweed beds. And as you can see, I'm coming up on one, and once I get there, I'm just going to take a dive down on the deep side of the seaweed bed, and I'm going to look in towards the shore side, and I'm looking at about a foot off the bottom. That's where the pike are hanging out. It varies by day. Sometimes they're on the surface, sometimes they're on the bottom. This day in particular, they were on the bottom. And so as you'll see here in a second, I'm about to take a dive. And so I'm just heading down about to the bottom. I don't want to be right on the bottom so I can't see, and I'm just looking to the right towards the seaweed, and right here I see a pike, which I don't shoot. I see another pike behind it that it looked bigger, so I shot that one, and that pike in fact was not bigger, it was smaller. That was my mistake. I couldn't see the full thing, I could just see its tail, and so I was deceived. But anyway, it's still a fish. And so I'll just dispatch this fish really quick, and then it'll be to the next clip. Alright, so this next clip, I was actually already on the bottom when I started the video. I thought I saw a lure, and I dove down to get it. It turns out the lure was actually in a fish's mouth. And so the fish took off, and from there I started going after it underwater, already on the bottom, and right there I took a shot on it. It was a good shot, and then I go to the surface and I start pulling this fish in. And this is about the exact size that I like to shoot, not too big, not too small, kind of the perfect eating size. You can see that spinner bait in its mouth. And so from the surface, this guy was kind of buried in the weeds, so all I could see was the lure. And it was already dark because the visibility is not very good. So when I went down to grab it, it turned out to be a fish. And so for this one, I think I'll leave in a clip of what I would do after shooting one, which is dispatch it really quickly. We'll see how long this will take. So just looking at the lure. I actually ended up losing the lure because I put this fish on my stringer with the lure in its mouth. And by the time I got back to shore where I got out at, when I pulled the stringer up, there was no more lure. So I actually never ended up getting that lure. I was a little bummed about that, but whatever. Alright, we'll just skip to the next clip. Alright, and so here I'm just heading down to the bottom, just right on the outside of the seaweed again, looking towards the inside, and the pike again are on the bottom, about a foot off the bottom maybe. And here I'm just looking in towards the seaweed, and I'm going to spot another small pike about a foot off the bottom and shoot him. Unfortunately, you can't see the fish in the video because the visibility was absolutely terrible right here. Too many boats were moving around and stirring up the bottom, but shot him, and the clip's going to end as I'm pulling him up to the surface. Alright, so here's another clip. I'm on the bottom, and there's a nice pike right there. Very long shot, just out of visibility, and take a shot on him, and I missed. is a long shot. Not sure how I missed, but I did. And so, of course, not great because I didn't get a fish, but I still thought it was a good video to put on here. Alright, so now I'm just going to show a little video of how I would fillet some of these smaller pike. This isn't a great video because my knife's dull and I have a tiny cutting board and I'm standing on the ground and trying to fillet it, but it gives you an idea. So I'll just cut down to the spine behind the head, and then I like to slice down the stomach just right below where the color ends. The reason I'm doing this is because it just fillets off some of the more contaminated parts of the fish, and there's not a lot of substance on the belly meat anyway. So it's just overall not worth it. Plus it makes it a little bit easier to fillet. And so that's just another advantage of it. As you'll see, I flip it over and then I put my knife here. I splash myself with fish goo, and now I'm contemplating the stupid decision that got me there, and now I go back to flame. And so I'm just going to put my knife back to the spine, flip it sideways, and then just run it down the spine. And having the belly cut away makes it easier because you're only cutting on one side of the fish and not both. And so I'll just fillet that all the way down. And so I won't fillet this all the way through the skin. I'll stop right at the edge, and that just makes it easier to skin it because now you have something to hold on to. And so now I'll just skin the fish, which is just like any other fish, very self-explanatory. This would be a lot easier if I had a sharp knife, but this knife is very dull, needed to be sharpened. I didn't have a sharpener with me, so I had to use what I had. And now I'll just fillet the rib bones out, and that process is fairly self-explanatory as well. Just start behind right where they begin, and then just fillet as close as you can to those bones as you fillet them off. And I'll skip ahead, and right here I just got done. Throw those away, and then I'll throw that fillet into my little bag of meat, and I'll do the other side. And now I'm done with the other side. I'll rinse it off and throw that in the bag as well. And unfortunately I didn't video flaying the Y bones out because I didn't want to do that on the beach. I did that at home and I forgot to film it. At some point I'm sure I'll film a full video on how I fillet pikes. I like my method more than any of the others I've seen out there, and it works pretty well for me. So that's just how I get the main fillets off of the fish. And now I'm just done packing it all up, and this is the end of the video. If this content was something that you enjoyed watching and you would want to watch more of, just let me know and I'll film some more of these dives. I know there's not a lot of content about freshwater spearfishing out there, and there's a lot of people that do it, so I would happily film some more dives and post another video, maybe just of me diving and shooting fish. So just let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see, and I'll try to make another video of that.